Okay, thank you. Diabolale. Good to have you. Good to have people like you. Now, time may not be on our side with respect to what I'd like us to cover today. And so I will go straight. Just to remember to put your questions in the chat. I will probably run a little faster so that we get time to run through the questions. Let me, as Odhiambo said, and many of you already know, my name is Otieno Paul Peter. I'm very passionate about this field. This is basically a part of what we will be, or what we usually share with the people in women in digital business. This is a small section of it, because if you have no idea what it takes to be online, then most likely you will be offline. The moment you are offline, it's like you don't exist. A business that is offline simply does not exist. Yeah, so you've been told I am a business and ICT consultant. I've been there for many, many years, and I hold several certifications in the same. And I started participating in this industry in 2006, to be precise, September 1st. And I've just been in the field throughout. That's when I was enrolled as a trainer for ICT with the Institute of Advanced Technology. And thereafter, I went to Africa Online, where I was a support person, supporting clients all over. And I retired from active employment in 2010, August 5th on. Um, and if you're unable to hear, you can always put in the chat, then somebody will be able to see it. Um, yes, so I'm a businessman and an author. I've done two books, one on leadership, one on personal development, and they seem to be doing very well and very passionate about everything I do. So why online? Why should you be online? As I said before, it simply means that you're going to meet more people, and more people means more prospects. More prospect, if you remember, or for some of you who've gone through some of our trainings, whether sales or online training, online presence, women in digital business, you know that we always talk about the sales funnel, meaning you need more people joining, more people seeing what you do, and maybe some of them will be interested, and then a couple of them may take action. So by expanding the number of people who know about what you do, therefore you're also increasing your possibility of getting more customers, and more customers mean more revenue to your business. Not everyone can or should buy. Not everyone is your prospect. We always define prospects. Yeah, you see, prospects are people with the capacity to buy and they have the need. The others could be something else, maybe suspects. So online absence means a reputation is a little down today. If somebody hears about your business, yeah, I'm selling clothes, our organization is called XYZ, they quickly Google, what is this XYZ? You see, they want to verify. It's like being online, more so having a website. A website is an authoritative presence of that particular organization. Yes, you can have social media and all that. That's very good. It keeps people current and they want to know, what did you say yesterday? When last did you post? That's just to verify that you exist. Even as an individual today, people want to know what you are up to. If you apply for some job, whatever, they will go online to check what have you been up to in the interim. And they want to know what have you been posting the last 10 years, if you've been online 10 years, whatever. And that's what we call background check. So the same happens for your organization. It's always good to stay consistent, to be present. Today, you may do without a physical office because in some instances, very few people will ever reach your office. But much, much more people will reach you online. Yeah. So factors that people need to consider. These are some of the very important considerations every entrepreneur needs to make, though most times they are not told about. And one is dependability. Is what you're getting into dependable, or sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off? Most hosting companies will give you 99.99 whatever percent, but in actuality you realize that enough times you are down than you are up, and you give up. And this is why you realize that some people have their own emails which brand the organization, they have their own domains, but they will still use some Yahoo or Gmail, which somewhat taints the credibility. Scalability means it can be expanded. You started with one page, you can go to multiple pages, you can add some social media links, and you can increase capacity maybe as your business grows and something like that. It should not be static. And continuity means it doesn't just end abruptly. I have very a good number of stories about people who built their brands maybe 4 years, 5 years, 3 years, and then they went online and put them online, but they were not told certain things that, for example, that they need to be renewing their domain. And somebody else picked it because it wasn't renewed. A good example is a friend of mine who was running, I don't know whether he still does or he gave up. He was running a tour company. And you know, Kenyans, we were known for these by those whites abroad for these tourism things. So he already developed a good client base for that 1 year. I think he was coached to pay for 2 years or something. And then after that, it wasn't renewed. He wasn't told that it should be renewed. By the end of the day, somebody else picked his domain, built exact same website, and picked all his clients. Yeah. Security. Security is a big thing. Most of us have already known about that, but you need to be sure that wherever you are hosted or whatever you are doing online, you are not hacked. And this one has a big topic, whether it's passwords and all those credentials. Uh, Many of us have heard of Facebook being hacked, or whichever platform, whether WhatsApp or phone, and that happens even to your website. At one point, I was working with some organization. We were collaborating, and at one point, all the websites that were hosted there were hacked and showing some uh, obscene things. You see, you log into your website and it shows what is not your content. You see, all those things happen in this industry. Support. You need to ensure that you have the support, ongoing support. That's why you realize that some websites, when you log into them, the last time it was put up, it was 2013, and nothing else has happened. And that to somebody will mean that these people, maybe they are not very active, or they are struggling. Yeah, you know, the impression that you are struggling should not reach your prospects, because they don't want to do business with people who are struggling. So some of the steps, as I said, I'll be running a little faster because I have a couple of slides. Then we will ask questions. Online presence will begin with what we call a domain. And a domain is your identity online. It is something that belongs to you. You can change things around. You can change your host here and there. You can expand your capacity wherever, but your domain remains your identity. It's like your name. At what point should people get their domains? And what is a domain? A domain is this thing that is .com or .whatever. Like I have one called otienopaulpeter.com. If you go, you'll see my website there, otieno.paulpeter.com, and I have emails attached to that. You can have your name.com, .co.ke, .org, .whatever, your company, .whatever. We also have ictgurus.com and a couple of other domains. So this is what is globally making you available the moment it becomes popular. And it's your work, of course, to make it popular. We'll touch a bit about that. This is something that you must always ensure is up and renewed, whether you have a website built on it or nothing, whether you have an email on it or nothing. Most times when people register the organizations, they don't do this, and then later they now say, now I think I'm ready for online or whatever. Then you realize that somebody already registered your name. Yeah, because this is global. You registered your company maybe in your local country, in Kenya, Uganda, wherever, and there you are able to register it neatly. Let's call it Otieno and Company Advocates. So that's an advocacy firm, a law firm. After that, instead of going to secure that online, you left it. And then somebody else will do the same. Maybe they're also called Otieno, somebody in Uganda, somebody in Rwanda, whatever. And they will put it online. And somebody who is online, probably they've already built a website, who wanted you might actually just end up reaching them. So it's important that the moment you register your business, you do the name, you've done the name search and the name is secured, it's reserved. You go ahead and register your domain so that the same is reserved online. If you find that it's not there, you will do some modification. It could be your company LTD, your company name ltd.com, something like that. So we have .biz, .org. .org, largely we use it for non-profit organizations. There is always a difference between .co.ke. This is a question I normally get, or we normally get. What's the difference? The difference is when you have .co.ke, largely when somebody does a search, for example, in Uganda, they will only get the international domains, the top level domains, the .coms, the .org. They will hardly get .co.ke. They also have theirs, .ug. You see, oh, the Tanzania has theirs, .tz. South Africa has, I think, .za. So here, for example, where I am in Kenya right now, in Nairobi, if you Google something, you hardly get the ones that are of South Africa or Uganda. It's the same thing that happens if you have .co.ke. If you want your business to go beyond the borders effortlessly, at least online, then you may want to put the top level domains. The moment you have that, the next level is to look for a hosting, which is like you are renting a house. You already have a name and an address. Now you're renting a house. You're renting a space to put your online material. And this is now where people will find you. So that space needs to be reachable, needs to be safe and all that. And some of the things you need to consider other than what we discussed is size. Yeah, if you have a tiny space, just like your phone, you could have a phone that has little space. What happens? When it gets filled up, it starts slowing down. You see, so having a space, the size of the space would be important. There is what we call shared and dedicated and all those details. Most organizations can do with shared. A little larger organizations can do with semi-dedicated. Semi-dedicated means the line is simply yours. You can compare it to a home, like we said. Shared means an apartment sort of a thing. You have your own lock, your key, your doors and everything, but then you share security, you share some common areas and something like that. Dedicated would mean that you have your own compound, you have your own gates, and you're taking care of everything, including security, garbage collection, and the likes. It gives you more freedom. When your neighbor has a party, it doesn't interfere much with you, but then you have a lot to spend, a lot to take care of because you are fully in charge. Semi-dedicated is a hybrid in between. So there is something we call speed or bandwidth, which is something you need to consider. Enough times you can go to a website and you realize that you can't reach it. And it tells you this as maxed on their bandwidth, meaning they are located like data. You can think of it in terms of data. If you are located 10 GB, for example, in a month and you finish it, then you are not able to get online. The same thing happens with website. So you may want to get something that is unlimited, and if you think of this in terms of shared or dedicated, you think of internet provision. Yeah, maybe you get an internet from some service provider and they tell you this is 10 MB. That 10 Mbps or 10 bits per second might be shared. It's shared within that area, maybe 4 people, maybe 10 people, or whatever. So if somebody is using more, then you may find congestion. It's like there is traffic. You have a road that is being shared. But if no one is using, sometimes you are on the road alone, the speed is high. So that is the speed of access for your website, which will mean it loads faster. That's the way it is. If you have a dedicated one, it's like you have your own road that leads to your place, or you have a bus that when you are not using, it's free. Then mailboxes, this is a terminology that is used in ICT to refer to email addresses. Email address is like, you think of it like a PO box address. So you have some box at the poster where you go and open and collect your mails. The size of that mailbox will always determine how many emails can be gotten. Just like your mailbox at the post, if it is small, then some letters will drop, and you have to call those people to collect them for you from the inside. You see, if something is big, cannot fit there. The same thing happens online. If somebody sends too big an email that should not come there, and there are usually restrictions, then they will bounce back to them and tell them something to do with the oversize or something. If your mailbox is full, the email will bounce and it will tell the other person there that the email of a quarter, something to do with that. Yeah, that it's gone beyond what is allocated. Maybe you allocated 5 GB, and this 5 GB keeps your website and keeps your emails, and you have enough emails, then it will they will start bouncing. So there are ways through which you can navigate through that. So those relate to hosting, and then security, of course, which we talked about. Now, let me go to something about website. I've talked about loading speed. This will always be determined by your bandwidth, the size of your hosting space, and even how it is optimized, how it is built. If a website is not well structured, then it doesn't load fast. That's the way it is. Yeah, the material that is put there, some people put heavier photos or videos or something like that. So there is a way it's got to be optimized. Information flow. If information is not flowing well, then it means people will not be able to follow through. There are always standard ways of putting a website where the logo is known to be which direction, the menus are there so people can navigate through, and things like that. But over and above that now, how do I come from this page to the other page? Yes, I was reading about you, and now I want to learn about your services. Do I scroll up? Is the menu stuck there, or it gets lost and I've got to scroll up? Some other website you scroll until you forget where you started from. So information flow can be important to consider. Navigation, ease, and even call for action. At what point do you call for action and things like that? There is something called discoverability. Can your website be discovered online? Yes, if somebody, for example, you are doing housing, yes, like houseman, somebody Googled houseman, can they reach the houseman website? Can they reach you on LinkedIn, on social media, and all that? And are these things integrated so that when I reach your Facebook, for example, I can easily reach your website? When I reach your website, I can easily go to your Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever you are. They need to be integrated. So are you discoverable? That is an important thing there. There is something, a question we keep answering called search engine optimization, which many people may not be able to understand. Yeah, because enough of us always think that uh, we can twist the search engine. We can twist the search engine in order to be able to make our pages be on the first page of Google or generally the whole search engine thing. But that's not true. There is enough that can be done by the developer. But the question is, ask yourself, the last time you logged online, what were you looking for? Did you just go to a website to check their presence and things like that? Well, maybe you did that, but then you did not take too long on that website. Most times we Google things because we want information. And if that website does not provide enough information, then it means whenever people log in, the search engine presents it and it is clicked, you take there 3 seconds, then you get out. The search engine will regret giving it to you. Actually, they are sorry to have presented you something you didn't want. So next time it won't present it to somebody else because it doesn't want to serve what people don't like. It's like a hotel, a restaurant, you see. So it checks which one is popular, which one when I serve to people, then they take longer. If you take 10, 15 minutes, 5, 10, 15 minutes, even 30 minutes, it knows that, oh, I served you the right thing. So it gets feedback because there is AI. There is the implementation of AI. So it's good to have good content that will engage people. This is where a blog comes in. You write some blog, maybe you wrote it in LinkedIn, but then you can link it up to your website so that somebody can read more but click to your website, and then they read. Next time somebody searches something related to that, the search engine will present your website, because last time it was the algorithm knows that last time I presented this to somebody, it was a good fit for him or her. You see, so the content must be rich, and this is why you want your website to also have some videos that people can engage with, some content that people can learn from. If you're dealing with bags, you can write about how do people choose bags, what are colors, what rhymes with fashion, whatever things that are related to your organization. You're dealing with HR, you can always be writing about HR things. How do people hire? What are some of the difficulties? Be a consultant, and that is what makes people to want to know more from you and engage with you. So make your website rich. The structure, I talked about the structure and content flow. If it's horrible, search engine doesn't present things that are not well structured. Yeah, it starts sensing broken links. There is what we call metadata, and this is what many people knew about when we talk of optimization, because there is a space where when we build websites where we put information. If somebody Googles Otieno Paul Peter, then this is what you present. So I can put metadata, Otieno Paul Peter, maybe ICT consultant, maybe trainer, whatever. I will put information that is related to what people may want to Google. I imagine, and there is a way you can also search it online. What are some of the keywords that we can use to feed into the metadata so that whenever they are Googled, then my website would be presented as an option. So that is part of optimization, and it ranks always around number 3, just like I've said it. And then there is what we call publication. Long time ago, some of you remember that you needed to submit your address to the telecommunications company to put it in the directory, so that whenever they publish the directory, I think twice or once a year, then when somebody checks, they can get uh, your contacts and details about your business. Today, we do that online. You remember the yellow pages, right? It's still online also. But today we submit to search engines like Google, like Bing, Yahoo, and all of them. There are quite a number. Many people only know Google. So the moment it's submitted, then they catalog, they put it as part of now what they have in their content. But because you will not go there and search and open pages, page after page after page, it will always present pages 1, 2, 3, and they could be a million. When you search something, you're likely to get a million options. If you check down there what was presented, maybe yours is number 1.2 million. That is it. So you need to ensure that your content is precise enough and rich enough, so that search engine, much as it's cataloged, if you click, you will ultimately get it. but it needs to be at least appearing where it's relevant. There is also something to do with locality. If somebody looks for something in Kenya, they will most likely be presented with what is Kenyan first before they go to the regional. You see, except if the other one is more popular. So search engines will check the popularity and using the AI technology and the likes. So I'd like to go to website types. I'll just group them into simple categories. There is the standard one, which many organizations have. It presents the same thing to every audience. I log in, I will see the same thing. It's like you put your profile, organization profile there. These are the things we do. This is the persons we are. These are the target clients. This is our contact form. These are our telephone numbers, WhatsApp connection, whatever links to social media and things like that. But then there are those ones that are a little more engaging and interactive. For example, you log into an institution website. The moment you log in, you can put your details and then it presents you what is related to you. Or these ones for learning. It will engage you, you're learning something, you click this video, and then it knows that one you had clicked and it even grades you and things like that. We call them interactive. And so their costs are even higher. You see, depend most times they could be what we call web applications. They are more programmed and interactive. Then we have also the ones that are popularly known as e-commerce, where you can do shopping, Shopify, the Jumias of this world, and the rest, Amazon and things like that. They are meant and optimized simply for buying things. Then there is something maybe a touch about called templates and customized. There are websites that you can build based on templates, and those ones that you can easily customize. Sometimes you give somebody your website and they don't finish because they presented something that you didn't like, and you told them, now I want you to remove this image here, take it to this page. I'd like you to bring this content to this page and whatever, and it becomes a nightmare for them because they were using a template. It's like a blueprint that is given for a house. If you start saying that now I want this door to get out of here and go to the other side, it spoils that structure, and it will depend on whether that person has the capacity it takes to remove that door from that place, seal that window, and put maybe a cabinet there and things like that. So sometimes when you're pressurizing your people, you just know that they have a limitation because now it goes down to coding. But that is the very same thing that was being avoided by using a template. Yeah, so you are running a church organization, and somebody gets a template that has prayer requests and whatever. Maybe your church doesn't have prayer requests, so you say, I'd like this prayer request part to be removed, this tithe whatever to be removed. Now for us, we have Bible study. Now I'd like us to put a Bible study groups and whatever, so it becomes a nightmare. So that is also important to know. Support that you need is key. You will need ongoing support, but the more you can be autonomous, the better. And you can take care of your basic requirements. For example, you can ask support 24/7. You can adjust a few things on your own. You can set up your emails on your own. The moment you've been shown how to do them, that limits that communication delay. Maintenance, many times, and this is something I meet all the times. You meet somebody, they want a website, and they tell you, we want you to help us to manage it on our own. We do not want to be looking for you. Many times you will get a website to be developed, but then everything you want to do, you want to change an image, you look for that person. You want to remove somebody, maybe somebody was a member of your board but is left, and now you want to bring somebody else, you look for that person. And every other time you've got to be charged. So you can always have an agreement. Is it annual? Is it monthly, retainer, whatever? Or better still, if you can get a website that you can do your own maintenance and management, you do not need the person anymore. Most times, by the way, we offer that, and we have enough of you here who take care of your own needs. You take care of, you take control. Enough times when you disagree with your administrator, web admin, or the person you've given your control panel, they can sabotage you. And I've had such experiences with other people. You realize that you disagreed with somebody else, is run away with your credentials. Why? Because you handed them the control. You should not. There is what you should give them to take care of what they need to take care of, but you don't hand over everything, because they can run with it. And then what do? They will sabotage you. It's like somebody has kidnapped somebody and now looking for ransom. It's good to know that. And then we've talked about social media. You need to link them together, and the branding needs to be consistent. The logo on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, should be the same logo on your website, and it should indicate your website. The content for the social media need to be current. You cannot say that you posted last year, then to some people it means you don't exist. You see, how do they know whether the company went under? So you need to be current. You posted something this week, last week. Some people post many times in a day, depending on how large your organization is. And many times you'll interact with your customers and respond to them real time. Very, very important. YouTube. Yeah, you need to, even YouTube, you don't hand it over to somebody. And there are enough people who will come to you. We want to manage your YouTube. And then you hand them the credentials. I know many of us, we don't like working and getting to know these things. So you hand over everything. You create it, manage it. That day you are in disagreement, that is when you will regret it. So get to know what you need to give and what you don't need to give. How do you retain that control? And we can always discuss more about that. Now, I know it's already 8. So, well, for ICT Gurus, we have all those packages, including virtual private servers. We have shared, semi-dedicated, dedicated, and largely compared to what is offered in the market, we are most reasonably priced, secure and reliable. You can actually depend on it. Excellent support 24/7, and it's scalable or expandable. I'd like to stop there and respond to questions, if any, and then we can always move on. I hope we already have some questions, and we're going to respond to them. Yeah, so somebody can read them for me if they are there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Someone has asked, someone has asked, why do hosting costs vary in Kenya?
That's a good one. Uh, Hosting costs will vary, just like vehicles vary. Yeah, if you buy a Vitz, it won't cost the same thing as maybe a Noah or a Mercedes or whatever. So it will depend on what they are giving you. Remember, we've talked about bandwidth. What bandwidth are they giving you? We've talked about space. What space are they giving you? When you bought your phone, maybe you bought it at 16 GB or 30 GB or 50 GB, whatever it is. The same thing happens with hosting. And then the platform, how secure it is and things like that. So it's all that goes in. That is what will vary. And so you just know that when I'm paying little, and most times you will be given something that, I can do with 3,000. Why do I pay 6,000? It's okay, just do that. But then it also has its own limitations, because it cuts you in a particular way. You are only given what you can afford. I was told that in China, if you will get two same looking shirts, but one is priced twice more, then you wonder what's the difference. It is what you can afford. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. And just the way the people on social media joke and say, kuna ule mcheap, like you'll definitely get a cheaper one, but it's the services they offer. So Melvin is asking, what is the benefit of using hashtags in social media posts and blog posts on websites?
Yeah, on blog posts it helps. It determines what is trending. If you go to X, or what we used to call Twitter, and you check top stories, they are always known because of those hashtags. It's trending. How many people are contributing towards this? So it helps people who are interested in the topic. Those things pop up for them. And it's like, people are discussing about this, people are discussing about this, people are discussing about this. That is why they are put there on social
Okay.
media.
Okay, thank you. And then Melvin has also asked, what is your comment on AI designed websites?
It's a good question. One thing I've learned is you cannot effectively and productively use AI, which we call artificial intelligence, if you are not intelligent. So it can be worked, but you need to know exactly how you're going to use it, because it has its own limitations, and it will tell you, I'm just a language machine. You see, sometimes when you ask some questions, so you can produce content, but you need to fine tune that content to speak to you. And then the other thing is, for websites or contents that are purely generated by AI, again, the very same AI which is in search engine will be able to detect, and so it doesn't rank it higher as your original content. And this is why we are saying you need to be intelligent enough to be able to customize it to speak to the audience. The AI will generate something which is fantastic, but again, that very same AI will realize that this one I just generated for you. You see?
I love the way you say that you have to be intelligent.
Yeah, you cannot use it if you are dumb.
Very true. Very true. And maybe that is why AI is being misused. It's being abused because it's a good tool, but in not in all the right hands. Some hands are the wrong hands, and so people just use it to do whatever they feel like doing. So another question is, are there economically priced domain hosting SEOs etc services for startups? Also, for startups, more often than not, the founder is the CEO, the technician, the salesperson, the marketer, everything is the founder. Any tips on how to establish and maintain social media presence for such a business where time is a bit limited? Because this person, the CEO, you started it, but you are the one who is doing everything. You come, you wash the office, you do everything.
Yeah, that's another very beautiful question, a very valid one, a real life one. One is reasonably priced for startups. Most of them are, but what you want to consider also is, will it serve me? You know, you can go for a reasonably priced phone, but then all the times uh, you are taking it to a fundi. Then it means it won't serve you. So you need to consider all those things that we said. Is it going to be available all the times? Will it grow with me, or it will be stuck? Do I get the support? Most of the things will be inbuilt if it's a good hosting. So you need to consider all that. So the choice you make will always determine how much work you have. Number two, for social media, you can always link them in a way that if you post one at a particular spot, it goes to all of them together. There is always a way of linking them, so that if you post on Facebook, for example, it will go to Twitter, it will go to Instagram, and nowadays there is even a way you can schedule those things using WhatsApp and things like that. The same thing, you can post on LinkedIn and it goes to Twitter and other places. And you can schedule, you can put it as your schedule. Every Monday, maybe this is what I do, and something like that. So scheduling can help you. Another way is to find some young person you can always engage. The problem with social media is it has two aspects. And again, it still needs some degree of creativity. It has the content development part, and then the actual posting. And even when you are posting, how do you post it? We can post similar images, but one will trend and one will not. You see, it will depend on what else do you write there. What is catchy? You can post the same video. One will make a story, one will not. It always depends on the creativity and how you can engage the audience, what's thinking and things like that. So you can have somebody who probably will be developing for you content, or if you are good enough, you can develop them. Actually, part of what we teach in Women in Digital Business is how to develop content and making use of online tools and including AI, you see. And then you can generate them. You can choose to generate for a particular period of time. If you say, I'm going to sit on Saturday and generate for a whole week or a whole month, whether you want to post every week or every day and something like that. And then you can even schedule them. There is a way you can schedule the posts so that when it reaches that time, they're just posted. All those details can always work, and that will be able to work for the startup. Otherwise, we know there is no substitute for hard work. You cannot substitute it. Yes.
Yes, hard work is a must. Like,
Yes.
yeah, yes. I am checking for more questions, but I think currently there are no more questions. And as I check, I just have to remind you people that the recordings of all the sessions that we have, the recording of this session will be out in the next maybe 2 to 3 days. The recording will be out. And then also, when you go to our YouTube page, you will find recordings of previous of the previous sessions that you have had. Any session that you need, you will find it there. Any other question? Who has a burning question they want to ask?
Yeah. So even managing social media can be a big thing nowadays. Those are the new jobs, and there are enough people out there. Another way is to engage even your children if you have some relatively uh, young adults in your. They are more creative, by the way, and they will be happy to do that because they love staying on gadgets. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Odhiambo Olale. There are no more questions in the chat. But guys, if you have any other question, you can reach out to sorry, not Odhiambo Olale, Otieno Palpita. You can reach out to Otieno Palpita. I mean, he is always active in our WhatsApp group, and that brings me to, if you are not in our WhatsApp group, you can, there's a link in the chat, or the link will be sent right now, where you can join our WhatsApp group. And kindly do not forward that link to anyone who has not attended any of our sessions. We love people to join the WhatsApp group after they have attended one or two sessions, because we want them to know what they're getting themselves into. Yes, I see Otieno Paul Peter has posted his contacts. You can WhatsApp ICT Gurus on that number there for more questions and consultations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Otieno Paul Peter.